This is Albany, Illinois. If you're driving down 84, it will just look like your average river town. Whoops. It's actually not even a town. It's actually so small, it's classified as a village, with an antique shop, gas station, and a couple of bars. But just a little off the beaten path is a hidden gem. I'm of course referring to the Albany Mounds. Sandwiched between Cherry Street and Bunker Hill Road is a 205-acre large state historical site. Now, before I tell you why you should visit the mounds, I'll give you a quick summarized history of the mounds. Evidence of humans in the mounds dates back 10,000 years to the Hopewell people of the area. From 200 BC to 300 AD, natives in the area would come to the prairie and the surrounding woods and construct burial mounds for the dead. This next segment comes directly from the mound's website, which I'll leave in the description. Mound construction was fairly uniform. First, the topsoil was cleared away. A tomb was constructed either on the surface or placed in a pit dug into the subsoil. The tomb was constructed of stones, plaster, or logs, and the tomb floor was covered with mats of skin, bark, or reeds. Over time, or at a designated time, the tomb was filled with remains of individuals and artifacts. Finally, logs, sometimes covered with flat stones, would cover the tomb and its remains. Covering the tomb with heaping basketfuls of earth completed the mound. Over this 500-year period, 96 burial mounds were constructed, making this one of the largest burial ground groups in the country and the largest in Illinois. Unfortunately, only 39 of these mounds remain today. Now for the layout of the park. If you come in on Cherry Street, you'll find a parking lot where there are 2 pit toilets, or, if it's summer, Spider Central. Heading into the mounds, you'll go down the main blacktop trail, which takes you through the woods and 2 prairies. Fun fact, they do control burns on these prairies at least once a year. Before we go on, the condition of these trails is usually good. For instance, in the winter, usually 1 to 3 days after a snowstorm, the concrete trail is plowed and walkable, though it is usually a little icy afterwards. But then some trails can be overgrown, and some just don't exist. For example, after you get to the end of the blacktop, you take a right, leading you down a grass trail until you come here, where according to this map, there's a whole other trail. But for the last 8 years I've been here, I've never seen it, and you literally can't find this trail. Trust me, I tried. As you can tell from the map, there are quite a few trails in the mounds, but with just 200 acres, you obviously can't make a day out of hiking here if that's what you're looking for. This is something you can knock out in around an hour and a half. But the trails allow you to see the prairie, the woods. Of all the trails, you get a pretty good look at what the mounds has to offer. You can see most of the burial mounds, except for the one trail that just doesn't exist anymore for some reason. Now, I picked the worst time of year to make this video, but in the summer and fall, the mounds are beautiful, with the pasture being full of tall grass and different flowers, and you can count on seeing deer, bald eagles, and other wildlife during this time. And after a snowstorm, the woods are gorgeous, with trees being covered in snow. Now, I will warn you, in the summer, it is extremely humid in this area since we're right on the Mississippi River and there's a ton of cornfields that produce corn sweat. The humidity is awful and the bugs are terrible. Mosquitoes and gnats will absolutely eat you up if you're walking here in the day, but if you go later at night or early in the morning, they're not really a problem. Also, it can get extremely foggy here, to the point where you can't see more than like 5 feet in front of you. Also, I've seen my fair share of weird things out here. Like this one time, I saw what I can only describe as a face looking at me from over a tree. Now, I've been to Yellowstone, Badlands, Grand Tetons, and the Appalachian Mountains, Lake of the Ozarks, and I have seen a wide variety of the natural beauty this country has to offer. Look, I'm not trying to flex, I'm simply trying to say no matter where I go, how far I travel, and what I see, there's just something that feels special about these mounds. I've spent literal hundreds of hours in these mounds, and I often find myself walking my dogs through these mounds when I need to clear my head. And it's not just me. My family would go for walks here all of the time, and you can count on seeing people biking, as this is right on a bike path that leads to Chicago. Also, you'll see people running through the mounds, including myself, as well as walking their own dogs and going for walks as couples. For somebody who lives in a never-ending land of cornfields, it's just nice to have a little bit of variety here, and to have a mixture of natural beauty and history in my backyard. It's just really cool. I made this video to share my appreciation for the mounds and hopefully convince you to give them a try when you get a chance. So if you're in the area going down 84, make sure to stop by and take a stroll through the mounds. Overall, I'd say the mounds have way more positives than negatives, and if I had to give it a rating for what it is, it's an easy 7 out of 10. Now, I might be saying that from a little bit of a bias. I mean, I told you I spent hundreds of hours out here, and I appreciate them a lot, but hey, 7 out of 10, that's the rating. Anyways, that's all I got for now. If you enjoyed this video, don't be afraid to like and subscribe. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.